Well, as I mentioned, today marks the 49th anniversary of the U.S. Supreme Court's ill-fated decision in Roe v. Wade, legalizing abortion in all 50 states through all 9 months of pregnancy. The poorly reasoned decision from the court has cost the lives of over 60 million unborn babies. Each year, on the anniversary of the decision, pro-life Americans gather here in Washington, D.C. to participate in the March for Life. And this year may be a special one. It could potentially be the last March for Life with Roe as the law of the land. Come June, we should hear from the court on their decision in the Dobbs versus Jackson Women Health Organization, which could do away with this so-called constitutional right to abortion. Joining me now to highlight the March for Life is the chairwoman of the Values Action Team in the House of Representatives, our good friend, Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler of Missouri. Congressman, welcome back to the program.
Well, thanks, Tony. It's great to be here on a great day.
Well, you have been outspoken on life from the very beginning, even back when you were in the Missouri House. This is an issue of great importance to you.
Oh, it is. I mean, God has given every life a plan and a purpose, and I believe that life begins at conception, and it breaks my heart to think of over the 60 million lives that have been snuffed out due to abortion and what those lives could have meant to our world and to each one of us. But also, I believe in adoption. And when I was in the Missouri legislature, I passed 2 major adoption laws because every life is valuable and every life is wanted. And we need to make sure that every life has a chance to live. So I'm proud to be a voice for life here and to help advance legislation to protect life, to defund Planned Parenthood, and to make sure that abortion is not the law of the land. And I'm very encouraged by our Supreme Court and just pray that they make the right decision.
You mentioned adoption laws. This decision, depending on what it is from the court, will certainly not be the end. It will be the beginning. There's a lot of work ahead. State legislatures most likely will be the ones that will be dealing with this issue going forward if most interpret the court's direction correctly. And then there's going to be a need for all kinds of focus, not just from a law perspective, but also from a community perspective, from churches to be involved in adoption, to be involved in helping single mothers. There's a lot of work that's going to be needed to ensure that America does continue down this path of becoming a predominantly pro-life nation.
Yes, that is so true. We need to support the women as well. And currently there are over 2,700 pregnancy resource centers, almost all run by volunteers, that provide care and support to women who choose life for their babies. But we need to expand that availability even beyond 2,700 and make sure that every woman who chooses life is supported and equipped to be that mom or to make a parenting plan for their child and choose another couple to be the lifelong parents for that child through adoption. But there are these positive alternatives, and I feel confident the pro-life community will continue to step up and reach out and love the women in this country and encourage every baby to have its life available and to live out to its potential.
Congresswoman Hartzler, life is one of the issues that the Values Action Team advances on Capitol Hill, but there are other issues. And this week we had a strategy session where the members of the Values Action Team met discussing priorities. What do you see in terms of potentially the next Congress with a Republican majority? What type of policies do you see being advanced?
Well, I think certainly we want to make sure that no federal tax dollars go to pay for abortion. That has been called the Hyde Amendment, but I think, it's in jeopardy right now at the hands of the Democrats. Want to do away with that, but I think we can do more to defund Planned Parenthood. The next battle is going to be with chemical abortions. Right now, 40% of the abortions in our country don't take place in a clinic. They take place in a woman's home after she has received pills in the mail. And sadly, the Biden administration just recently changed the regulations to permanently allow these pills to be sent to a woman's home without the woman seeing a doctor. And this is very concerning. As a woman, I'm concerned about the health of these women. Many of you saw the movie Unplanned, but they showed what do women go through to have this type of abortion. But we're going to have to be strategic, and I believe we need to figure out a way to make that illegal, to send abortion pills through the mail. So that's going to be something we need to continue to work for. Defund all the abortion clinics, as well as make sure that they can't send it through the mail. But there's other issues that we're dealing with as well. There's this LGBT agenda that has been infiltrating everywhere, including our schools. And I think it's time that we infuse some common sense again and values into our education and allow parents to have more of a voice in what is taught in our schools. So that is certainly something else that we need to advance and move forward on.
Well, as a former teacher, I know that is something you're passionate about, making sure that our children are not indoctrinated with a leftist agenda in our schools. You mentioned the shift from the abortion industry to these basically abortion in the mail with these the pills. The new, or at least the nominated, he's not yet been confirmed. He's come out of the committee and he's going to be voted on in the Senate floor. The president's pick for the FDA commissioner, Califf, who was in the Obama administration, actually kind of circumvented the safety procedures that were there for these over-the-counter sales of the abortion pill. So we clearly see this administration pushing the abortion industry's agenda with such enthusiasm. It's amazing.
Oh, it is. And we need to also stand up for the conscience protections of the medical professionals, because there will still be some states that allow abortions promoted, sadly. And there are pro-life medical professionals there whose rights are being threatened right now by being forced to participate in abortions. And so I think we can do more to strengthen our laws for conscience and protect their right to say no.
Congresswoman, I want to get your quick take on the president's comments. I'm going to play this clip from his press conference where he talked about this minor incursion, which has become a major issue. Play clip number 2, please.
Russia will be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, et cetera.
Are you saying that a minor incursion by Russia into Ukrainian territory would not lead to the sanctions that you have threatened, or are you effectively giving Putin permission to make a small incursion into the country?
Good question. That's how it did sound like, didn't it?
Congresswoman, this has become a major problem.
Oh, absolutely. It's another example of this president's incompetence. Not only did we have the debacle with Afghanistan, the terrible botched withdrawal that first abandoned Bagram Air Base, and then the billions of dollars of military equipment left into the hands of the Taliban. But then we have hundreds of American citizens left there. And then we have the loss of 13 lives of our service members. But now we see the president giving a green light, basically, to Putin to come in to the country, saying, well, we're not going to give you sanctions if it's just a minor incursion. This is ludicrous. This is incompetence. I mean, we have to have peace through strength. And sadly, on the world stage, America is no longer seen as strong. We're seen as weak because of this president. And because of that, our adversaries are emboldened. We see Putin. We also see Kim Jong-un shooting missiles out of North Korea. We see China flying over Taiwan. The world is more dangerous now than it was before Biden. And we need to stand strong with Ukraine. We need to be deterring them from taking one footstep into Ukraine. We need to stand by this democracy and the Christians there who have been fighting to have a freedom like we have. And for him to say that is just deplorable.
Yeah, it's important, as you've underscored, that this is not just Russia and Ukraine. This affects China, this affects North Korea, all the bad actors on the world stage. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for your leadership on Capitol Hill.
Well, it's an honor to visit with you. God bless.
All right, Congresswoman.